and welcome back to Neat Me Debt Free. I'm Hannah, and this is my space to share my budget and all the things that go along with it. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, go ahead and stick around. So today's video is going to be my first update for November. If you haven't watched me set up my budget, it might be worth your time to go back and watch that video. We're going to be diving into where we are now. So everything's been plugged in, kind of skeletoned out, and I'm just going to do some updates and some adjustments. So pay was already set in the last video. I did pay the rent. This $600 was transferred into our sinking funds account. I gave each of us $100, so that went through. These four that have an asterisk, I do move the money into a single account. So all four of these categories get transferred together, and they're kind of in like one account. So I don't do cash envelopes. I have different cards that I use for different circumstances to make it easier for me to track. I'm just really terrible at tracking. I tried again to track my expenses, and I don't know. I don't know how people do it. Maybe I'm just not, I don't know. I mean, I keep track of it in my bank account, but it's just like the day-to-day keeping track gets overwhelming to me. So basically these four categories get put into our second checking account, and the deductions come straight from there. It hasn't been an issue for us thus far, but it does make it hard for me to kind of like limit our spending and stuff like that. So that is definitely a work in progress for me. If you have any tips, go ahead and leave them in the comments, because clearly I'm just not working it very well. And don't tell me to use cash, because that's kind of a hard no for me. Anyways, kids dance classes, that did go through. PG&E true up. So this is a little confusing this month, just because I did something a little funky. So our true up is our annual bill, like our actual bill that's due because we have solar on this house. So I made a payment agreement. I did pay $210 at the end of last month, and I did pay another $210 this month. And so I like to pay things early, like as soon as the bill comes in, I like to pay them. So in an attempt to get ahead, I'm going to do something a little funky. So the actual payment that will be due for the payment installations is this $219.08. So what I want to do when my next PG&E bill comes in, I want to pay the installment plus our monthly PG&E bill, our electric bill. So this will be a little low budgeted. It will actually go up, but that's kind of what I'm doing here. Let's go back up. I did transfer $4,500 into our savings account. So this one, so all these highlighted ones are ones that I did not set up in our skeleton, and they just kind of came up, or I added them into the budget afterwards. So that's why I have them highlighted. So I'll talk to you about them. This was something I found on my credit report that we contested, and then I did decide to just pay off. And now what's on my credit report is just my student loans. So that's great now that this is taken care of. Renters insurance, I had plugged it in down lower in our budget. What it ended up coming to was this $90.48, and I did pay it as soon as it came in. So If you're wondering why I'm changing the colors, I have a system for myself where, because I like fill out the budget, I put everything in like a holding color, which is red. Once I set it for auto pay, or if it's like an automatic deduction, I put it in green. So like this one is an auto draft. And then once it's gone through, I change it to black. And so that's the final number of the set. I don't do budgeted versus actual. Again, this is just what has worked for me. It's been an evolving budget since we started our journey almost 2 years ago. And so this is just kind of like how I like to see things. I like things very minimal and clean and tidy. And so that's kind of where this came from. So our life insurance, my husband's life insurance did come out, and pest control, they did come out and I paid them. So this bill, I budget for $120 because in the year of 2019, our highest bill did come up to $120. And this month's bill did come out to $93.19. So the difference I did transfer to our savings account. So this is how I will account for it. So $93.19 will change to black. And then down here at the bottom, this difference is $26.81. And I will put a note. This is water, trash, $26.81. And so that's just my note to myself. These are my differences. So I do have just a very few variables, and I've just taken myself to push that extra money over to our savings account. So that already did go. So that's why it is in black. The haircuts I had budgeted down towards the end of the month. We got notice that the kids' school was going to do school photos this week. So my husband took my son to go get his haircut, and both of them ended up getting it cut. They did pay $64. I had guesstimated $60. My husband was feeling very generous and gave each stylist a $10 tip. So that's why it did come out a little bit higher. But not only does my son have school pictures this week, but we will be taking family photos when we go down to San Diego. So it's worth the budget, I guess. Anyways, so these are just clothing and whatever expenses that I did go shopping for. So I'm just adding them in for clarity. And I usually use a clothing sinking fund, but I'm toying with the idea of changing our sinking funds and how we do it. So just for this month, I decided to just add it into the regular budget. So this one, you can see I wrote that I paid it off. So I charged it on the Macy's credit card, and I paid it off. I'm pretty sure I paid off all of these as well, but there's some, like I said, I'm really bad at tracking our stuff. So right now, this one is paid off, I know for sure. Once the dust settles on me moving money around, then I will change these. So right now I'm going to keep them red. So I used our credit card for these three. And so, I've been moving money around, and I need to double check that happened. So I get paid on the 10th from my irregular pay job. I had guesstimated $580, and I was super close. So my check ended up coming to $582.29. And so that is added in there. So really, we don't have that much left. I have Comcast, which is our auto draft. PG&E will be a minimum of $219. Whatever the monthly bill comes to, I will add to that. Netflix. I know Netflix said that they're supposed to be changing their prices, but as of right now, it's showing me that that's what my bill will be. So we'll see once that comes. That's on auto draft as well. Disney Plus will come out. We pay annually, and so that's set on auto draft. So far for the paycheck on the 25th for my irregular pay job, I have worked 2 days, and so I'm guesstimating I'll get about that much. I am scheduled for a third day for this pay period, but they are overstaffed that day, so there's a possibility I may get called off. Who knows? So again, I only add in possible income as I work it, just so I, don't count my chickens before they hatch. So on the 25th, I'm expecting a minimum of this. Kids allowance, $25 for each kid. Verizon, that's our cell phone bill. I should get the number, pretty soon there. And so that is all that's left for the rest of this month. And in my next video, when we do, I guess, our last check-in for the month and kind of recap the month and see how things went, then I will deal with this excess. So I had been working with a $500 buffer. I want to push myself and get it down to $250. So we're going to, everything extra over $250, we're going to move into savings at the end of the month. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, 250 is the goal. And then my goal next year is to push it down even further. I don't know if I'll ever go down to a zero-based, but $100 I think would be a good number to get to. So yeah, we're going to shoot for 250. Trying to think what else we could talk about. These are just the gas expenses. I've at least tried to track our gas a little better so I can adjust that budget a little bit closer now that my husband's been driving to work every day. I can get a better picture of his gas budget at the very least. Mine will always be irregular. So, but yeah, thank you for hanging out. I hope to make one more video in this November series, doing a final check-in and wrap up of the November budget. So I hope you'll be waiting for that video. Leave me some comments and maybe subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.